All right, it is 6 o'clock, and we'll call this meeting to order. We get a roll call.
Derek Jones.
Here.
Katie Cornman.
Here.
Stephen Cox here. Elaine Jones.
Here. All right, moving on to item C, flag salute and prayer. If you'll stand and join with us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, thank you again tonight for the opportunity to meet together as a board to make big decisions for our district. I'm so thankful for all the faces in this room and all the people that care about our students. Help us to make wise decisions tonight. In your son Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
All right, moving on to item 2, board member oaths. At this time, we will administer the oath of office to our most newly seated board member, and that's Jared Mosier. Jared, I declare under oath. I will faithfully as to my ability, God will charge all of them. Office. All right, moving on to item 3, public participation. Pursuant to Board Policy BED-R, members of the public shall be allowed to attend all meetings of the Board of Education. In addition, the Board of Education will have an item on every regular board meeting agenda that affords citizens the right to speak. Any individual wishing to address the board shall sign in with the board minutes clerk prior to the start of the meeting. The president of the board will then acknowledge only those individuals whose names are listed to address the board. The board will set a maximum time of 21 minutes at each regular meeting for public comment. Those wishing to speak will be limited to 3 minutes. Speakers will be allowed to address the board in the order they signed in with the board minutes clerk. The president of the board may extend the time limits if necessary. We have one sign up tonight, and that's Cindy Parrish. So right there, yes, and make sure the mic is turned on. And I have a timer set, so as soon as you start talking, I'll hit start, and you'll hear a...
Well, hello, everyone. So my name is Cindy Parrish, and a lot of you know my husband, Jackie, but I taught here for 8 years. I left here in 2015 to go to the Oklahoma School of Science and Math. I taught high school English for all that time, and Mr. Jones was my principal, and he was my assistant superintendent. But I just wanted to introduce myself and let you know that I am running to represent my district, which is House District 100 in the State House this year. And so I just wanted to let you know that I care very deeply about Piedmont schools. We live in the Piedmont district. In fact, my district is part Putnam City Schools and part Piedmont schools. So it's on the far eastern end of the Piedmont School District. So we live in Chapel Creek, which is we've got Northwood and we've got Stone Ridge, both in our district. And so it's just been very important to me to represent not just Piedmont schools, but public schools. I've been a big public school supporter for so many years, and I don't like to see us turning our backs on public schools. I think our students at Piedmont have been amazing kids. The ones I've taught and the families that I've worked with deserve all the resources, all the love, all the respect that anybody in the state deserves. So anyway, I will fight for our public school students and our families in the district. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know that I'm out here. So thanks.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on to item 4, presentations. Construction manager presentations. Dr. Eichelberger.
So we have 2 for you this evening. The first one are Lippert Brothers, and if you guys will, you'll have to turn on the microphone I'll need whoever's going to present, or if you share the presentation, just talk into the microphone so everybody that is on online can hear us too.
Okay, can you hear me all right? Good evening. On behalf of Lippert Brothers, we appreciate the opportunity to present our qualifications to serve as to provide construction management services for the Piedmont School District. My name is Tom Lippert, and with me today is our Shelby Lippert, our proposed project manager, Hank Hudson, proposed assistant project manager, Nick Bench, vice president, and Caleb Miller, who will be trying to coordinate between what we're saying here, the PowerPoint presentation, and your IT person in the closet back there. So before we get started, I'd like to commend the Piedmont School Board for considering construction management delivery system for your bond issue projects. The CM delivery method creates a collaborative environment and process that allows the design team and the construction manager to work together through pre-construction and construction services in order to provide a project that meets your needs and is within your budget. Lippert Brothers has been using this delivery method for decades, and long before it became a recognized project delivery system by the state of Oklahoma. We trust that our presentation this evening will give you some insight as to who Lippert Brothers is, our capacity and capabilities to add your bond issue projects to our current workload. We'll provide an overview of our project team. We'll present some relevant project experience, and then close with time to answer any questions you may have. So who is Lippert Brothers? Lippert Brothers was founded in 1920 and have been based in Oklahoma City since 1943. We've achieved this more than century-long record of success through our unfaltering focus on customer satisfaction and investment in people. We are a closely held, medium-sized construction company. Day-to-day operations are managed by the third and fourth generation and other key individuals. We employ an average of 35 to 40 full-time employees, with additional craft workers being added depending on the work we may be self-performing at any given time. This timeline reflects our company history and some notable projects that we've constructed over the years. The Oklahoma City University Library in 1951, the Turner Turnpike Glass House Restaurant in 1957, the original Cowboy Hall of Fame in 1961, the Myriad Gardens Botanical Tube in 1985, and the Oklahoma City National Memorial in 2000. As I indicated earlier, we're a medium-sized construction company with a business plan to continue providing exceptional services to our clients and take on work that we know we have the knowledge and skill sets needed to deliver a successful project. Lippert Brothers' annual volume hovers right around $52 million worth of work put in place each year. Currently, we have 16 major projects under contract with a total contract value of $108 million. The makeup of these projects consists of 9 projects from 0 to 5 million, 3 projects from 5 to 10 million, 3 projects from 10 to 20 million, and 1 project in excess of 20 million. The Travelers Insurance Company has been our bonding surety company for over 80 years. We currently have a bonding capacity of $100 million for a single project limit, $200 million in total aggregate bonding capacity. Lippert Brothers has no outstanding claims or judgments against us. We have never failed to complete a project, and we operate under a strict no-debt policy. The team we've identified for your projects includes Shelby Lippert, who is a vice president and will serve as lead project manager, and Hank Hudson, who will serve as assistant project manager. Now I'll let Shelby and Hank tell you a little bit about themselves and their career experiences.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shelby Lippert. I graduated from OSU with a degree in construction management technology. While at OSU, I worked and interned for long-range facilities planning. They oversee all the campus construction for OSU. After graduation, I moved to Dallas and hired on with Andrus Construction Services and started as an office engineer on the Cantabria project, which is a high-end multifamily apartment complex. After completion of that project, I transferred into more of a field role as a assistant superintendent on the Green Hill School dining hall and kitchen renovation. Once wrapping that project up, I was asked to move down to Houston and help start up a satellite office. There, I served as a superintendent on the Buckingham Phase 2 Senior Living Facility project. After about 5 years of being away, I was feeling a little homesick, and I started with LBI in early 2019 as a field superintendent. In early 2022, I transferred into the office and am working as a project manager on the Victory Life Academy project, which we'll go through in a little bit more detail here shortly. A couple personal facts about me. I am a Hope is Alive Young Professionals board member. I serve on the OSU Sigma Nu Fraternity Housing Corporation board. My wife and I have a 10-month-old daughter named Emily, and we love to go to the lake and go on walks and take our dogs Bo and Cash out. Thank you. Now I'll give the floor to Hank Hudson so he can tell you a little bit about himself.
Thank you, Shelby. Hi, everyone. My name is Hank Hudson, and I'm the proposed assistant project manager for your construction management needs. A little bit about myself. I went to Oklahoma State University and graduated in 2014 with a construction management degree and a minor in business. I served 2 internships while I was at OSU, one with Lippert Brothers in 2012. We were on the raw water project there under the Main Street Monroe that cuts through the university. And my other internship was in 2013. I went down to Dallas, Texas, and went with Brassfield and Gorey. I got a little bit of high-rise experience as an estimator and project engineer. After college, I hired on full-time with Lippert Brothers, and I've been there for 10 years. In my time with Lippert Brothers, I've been assistant superintendent on the OSU Michael and Ann Greenwood Tennis Center. In 2014, we finished that. From there, I went to the Children's Center in Bethany, which included a 5-story parking garage as well. And arguably had one of the best superintendents to learn from on that project. He retired last year, and he was one of the best superintendents in Oklahoma. I was very honored to be able to learn from him. From my assistant superintendent experience, I've started as a superintendent. My first job was the Woodcrest Fire Department there in Guthrie. After that, I went to Stillwater about 3 years, finished in the OSU Gary F. Stewart Research Facility, and also the Ray and Linda Booker OSU Flight Center at the Stillwater Airport. And most recently, as you guys know, I've been working on the Piedmont Middle School project. A little bit about myself. My wife and I have 2 children, a 3-year-old daughter named Austin and a 10-month-old named Jacob. I love to hunt. I love the outdoors. I love to hunt, camp, fish, and golf on occasion. Thank you. I'll turn it back over to Tom.
With regard to field staffing, Lippert Brothers assigns a field superintendent to each of our projects. That individual is responsible for overseeing the project from start through completion. We do not assign multiple projects to a superintendent. They have one project to focus on at a time. Our field staff consists of 12 superintendents with an average of 20 years experience in the construction industry. 8 of them have K through 12 experience. All are OSHA 30 certified and receive first aid and CPR training every 3 years. Once we know a little bit more about your project's structural and building envelope systems, we'll be able to determine which of our field team members would be best suited for your project. Now we'd like to go into a little bit of relevant experience with K through 12 and higher education. In 2012, Lippert received a construction management contract to construct a new cafeteria and storm shelter for Dale Public Schools. The storm shelter dome is constructed by using the roof membrane as formwork. Once in place, the space under the roof membrane is inflated and shotcrete is applied to that underside of that roof structure or that roof membrane. When the shotcrete sets and obtains its design strength, it becomes the structural roof system for the storm shelter. After the completion of the dome, the existing cafeteria area was repurposed for classroom space. In 2017, Dale passed a school bond issue, and we were selected as the construction manager to construct a new high school and gymnasium. The project involved demolition of the existing gym and adjoining classrooms. To ensure the safety of the students, We put out early bid packages to accomplish the demolition and site utility work during the summer months when the campus was not full of students. Once the work was completed during the summer, we erected our site fencing that separated our construction work from all the K through 12 activities that went on the campus. And now Hank will talk a little bit about some projects that I know you'll recognize.
Thanks, Tom. On this first slide here, this isn't news to you guys, but in 2022, Lippert Brothers got to build the Piedmont Athletics Complex, which includes a baseball field, softball field, 4 tennis courts, team dugouts, locker rooms, concession facilities, and press boxes. And it also won 2 awards. In 2022, it won the High School Field of the Year, and it also won the AGC Oklahoma Build of the Year award. On the next slide is my current project, the Piedmont Middle School. This featured complete demolition of the existing gymnasium and kitchen, including footings, utilities, roads, and parking lot structures. The new building includes a 13,000 square foot gymnasium and locker rooms and serves as a school storm shelter. And it also includes 50,000 square feet of new admin office space, classroom space, a band room, kitchen, cafeteria, and some other rooms. And one thing I want to touch on is while performing the new construction, Piedmont Schools asked if we could do a summertime remodel of all the existing buildings there on campus, which included gutting all 3 existing buildings' bathrooms, hallways, and classrooms. During that time, that summer, we worked 7 days a week, 12 to 14 hours a day, to get that project completed, and we were able to successfully complete these remodels in a 2.5 month span. And what I was told from the locals is it's the shortest summer the school has had in a long time. So we were able to complete that in 2.5 months' time, and school was able to start on time with 0 delays. With that, I'll turn it back over to Shelby to talk about some other projects.
Thank you, Hank. The next project we'd like to present is the Edmond Public Schools Redbud Elementary Phase 1, 2, and 3, which we constructed with the Stacy Group. Phase 1 was a hard bid, and even with the job breaking ground right at the start of COVID, we were able to overcome the labor shortages and supply chain issues in order to complete the project on time. Then, based upon our performance for Phase 1, we were hired as CM for Phase 2 and Phase 3. Throughout all 3 of these phases, we never demobilized. Phase 1 incorporated construction of an entirely new school facility, inclusive of classrooms, admin offices, a physical therapy room, cafeteria with a performance stage, commercial kitchen, media center, and a gymnasium that doubles as a storm shelter. And then lastly, some outdoor basketball courts. Phase 2 is the expansion of their kindergarten wing, which added some kindergarten classrooms and had some minor improvements to their kindergarten playground area. Phase 3 included construction of a whole new wing on the east side of the school, and it comprised of 20 new classrooms, as well as bathrooms and supporting spaces. The next project we'd like to present is the Victory Life Academy, newly rebranded as Legacy Christian School, is located on the Victory Life Church main campus in Durant, Oklahoma. This CM project includes new construction and renovation of existing structures into an all-new K through 12 education campus. This CM project, aside from the typical school spaces such as classrooms and admin offices, this campus includes a multi-purpose building. This building hosts a gym and locker rooms, a secure entry vestibule, library with computer testing, commercial kitchen, and a cafeteria which has a FEMA ICC 500 storm shelter rating. The campus exterior consists of a detention pond, turf playground area with play structures, and a new parking lot. While performing our CM duties on the academy, Victory Life Church hired us as CM on their west parking lot expansion project, and we have provided pre-construction services for their narthex renovation and addition. Now, one of our senior project managers and vice presidents, Nick Bench will present a few more relevant projects.
Lippert Brothers had the honor to work for Tecumseh Public Schools starting back in 2016 when they passed their 2016 bond initiative. Primarily, the main focus of that was a new early childhood development center, which is about a 40,000 square foot brand new facility on a new piece of dirt away from all the rest of their campus. It was a tilt-up building, inclusive of everything that would be in your typical school, including the cafeteria, playgrounds, offices, things of that nature, along with a storm shelter that was their gym. Not only did we construct that new building, but we also remodeled other buildings across their district, from their choir room to their band room, expanded their elementary gymnasium and cafeteria and remodeled it. Went to every building in the district and put in new secure vestibules at all of their facilities. And we even put in a new centralized HVAC control system so they can monitor and adjust all of their school buildings from their administration office. One more that I'd like to talk about was we had the privilege of remodeling an old 4-story bank building for Oklahoma City Public Schools a few years ago. It was an old bank building built in the 60s, I believe. We remodeled all 4 floors of it for their administration offices, and it's now the Clara Looper Center for Educational Services. The building houses about 185 of the district's employees, including the school superintendent and all his executive staff, and the human resources department, communications, and finance and academics are all in there. We also added the building on the side, which is a single-story building, to give it a new entry for the public, a new face for the public for when they come into the board meetings, and then the new boardroom and board meeting spaces are over there as well. Our work on this project kind of parlayed into a couple more projects when Oklahoma City Public Schools passed their 2022 bond issue. They have since awarded us 3 projects out of that bond issue package. One of them is one of their signature projects, which are the larger of the few. They had about 12 projects they titled their signature projects. And we got the one as an addition to Northwest Classen High School. In addition to that, we're going to be adding on to Britton Elementary and Quail Creek Elementary as a couple smaller projects over there. We haven't started construction on those. They're currently in the design phase right now, and we hope to be breaking ground on them here soon in the coming months. Now, in addition to that, like Tom mentioned, we've been providing construction management services for a long time. Another client, or types of clients that we have that are kind of similar to you guys, is higher education. We do work repeatedly for OU, OSU, the University of Central Oklahoma. And the reason it's somewhat similar is, yes, these are educational spaces. They're slightly different, configured a little bit different, but a lot of similarities to them. But in addition to that, those are all projects where we have to follow Title 61 rules to deliver those projects for public universities. And additionally, we have on-call construction management contracts with the University of Oklahoma, Oklahoma State University, and the University of Central Oklahoma. These on-call contracts, they basically call on us when they need something, whether it be some upgrades or remodels to be done during a summer while a building's shut down, or emergency repairs like what happened a month or so ago when they had some pipes burst in the freeze. They call us, we go out there and take care of it and fix it for them. Everything from small little things to remodeling a whole theater over a summer. Go ahead, Caleb. And so of construction management projects, publicly delivered over the last 10 years or so, we've done about 72 of them. 12 of those have been K through 12, worth about $100 million, just under $100 million. I don't know if we've calculated in some of those ones that we still have on design right now, since we haven't actually broken ground on them. We routinely deliver them ahead of schedule, on schedule, and under budget. And our track record of doing that is why we have 78% of our business is from repeat clients. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Tom.
In regard to a construction approach, we believe that the best way to administer a construction management project is to assign one lead individual that will see that project from pre-construction services through construction project warranty, and closeout. We think that too much information can be lost when a project is handed off from a pre-construction team to a construction team and then to somebody else that may handle the warranty issues if they arise. We call this the cradle-to-grave approach. It has been very successful for Lippert Brothers and very much appreciated by the clients that we work with. So why choose Lippert Brothers? We believe that our team offers the skill and technical competence required to provide a complete package of services from pre-construction, project administration, field coordination and supervision, project closeout and warranty to make your projects successful. Lippert Brothers is a team player. We know that success includes all stakeholders, the owner, the design team, trade contractors, material suppliers, and ourselves, your construction manager. One or more of your bond issue projects would fit well with our current work program and capacity to take on additional work. The project would be handled by a team with extensive construction experience and Piedmont Public Schools knowledge to make your project successful. This concludes our presentation, and we'll gladly answer any questions you may have.
Thank you for the information.
I have a question. So you say you have 12 superintendents,
Correct.
and each one handles one project,
Right.
and you currently have 16 contracts in right now?
Some of those are in pre-construction phase, so they're not turning dirt out in the field. They're not under construction. So we're always rolling projects through the volume of work that we have. If we've got $108 million under contract, but we're only putting in place $52 million worth a year. So we always have projects that are in a pre-construction phase, not requiring the superintendent at that time.
Okay, but the same person is going to be handling the pre-construction phase, then into the construction
No, our
phase?
project managers handle the pre-construction phase, and the field superintendent is the man on the field, like Hank has been out here on the middle school project.
Okay. Okay.
So we're talking construction management tonight on the presentation. Is that the capacity that y'all are managing on Piedmont Middle School, or is that as a general contractor?
The Piedmont Middle School project was a hard bid project, commonly known as design, bid, build. And the change that you all are considering to go construction management brings the contractor on board with the design team at the front end to help be involved with pre-construction services. So we will work with the design team, provide preliminary estimates as the drawings are developed, typically through schematic design, design development, and construction documents. We're scrubbing those drawings as they're prepared by the design team and trying to point out areas where they may need more information and details for constructability. When we go into the bidding phase, we will put together bid packages, and we go out and advertise and bid, and subcontractors would be required to bid a specific bid package that defines the scope of work that they're going to provide. So that when we do that, we know that everybody that's bidding the roofing package, they're bidding the same scope of work. We're comparing apples to apples, not apples and oranges, as can happen when you go with the traditional design, bid, build delivery method.
What other questions? Stephen?
On your current projects that you have going, what's the percentage for construction management versus the hard bid?
78.
I've got one. So on your construction management projects, say in 2022, what was your incident injury rate?
Our current experience modifier is, at that time, it was 0.70, and we are now at 0.74.
Does that include your contractors? No?
That is Lippert Brothers only.
So give me an idea of a large project you did and the incident rate with the contractor.
I don't know that I can relate the incident rate of our subcontractors to, with regard to a large project. I know that one incident, because we don't have that many projects, and one project or one incident can really skew your EMR. And we had an individual fall from a ladder, and it caused our incident rate to jump from 0.70 to 0.74. And we'll drop that injury will drop off of our record in another year. And then we're looking for our incident rate to drop back down.
Okay. So that was your EMOD, 0.76.
Can you tell us a little bit about like communications and timeline planning and how that's communicated back to the district and ultimately the board?
Sure. It's kind of a broad question, but
It's on our rubric, so I'm getting some details.
we use a project management software called Procore. That enables us to share all of our information digitally with the design team, and it's always available to the owner. So owner's reps can look and at a glance click on a few buttons and say, okay, how many open RFIs are there? That's a request for information. How many open submittals are there? What percentage of submittals have been completed? What's the time frame or the duration for the design team to review and return those open submittals? We also keep our project meeting minutes. We hold on-site project progress meetings weekly, and those meeting minutes are distributed typically within 24 to 48 hours of when the meeting was held, and they're also available online on the software management system in order for an owner to review. They're also emailed out to everybody that attends the meeting once they're completed.
As far as schedule goes, we use a couple of scheduling softwares. My project that is updated during the course of updated. We also can start during the time start, and that is it.
Thank you.
I think it was up there, but it was too small to see. On your cost, how many jobs, somebody mentioned that a lot of times under budget, what's the percentage of under budget projects have you done recently? Yeah.
I'm gonna say more are under budget.
Okay.
Sometimes have a little bit of slide that illustrates a little bit. Sometimes there's original. Owner's budget. Our view about the project. Got $4 million. We got the contract, it was a core and shell. New building, change order. Project. Generally, something.
You may have covered this, but what percentage of your business is repeat?
Repeat, 78%.
78%.
With the current, the middle school, design, bid and build, you work with the Stacy Group. What construction management projects have you done with the Stacy Group? Have you done any?
The Edmond Redbud School, three
With the
phases.
Stacy Group?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they did the athletic field. We've had a truly collaborative experience with the Stacy Group on the CM projects that we've done with them, and for that matter, for this hard bid project.
I think I saw up there 100% on-time performance is, you've hit the timeline every time?
So we'd like to beat the timeline when we can. You know, a project will have a schedule, and our goal is to beat that schedule. Now, there might be an item like on the project Nick was referring to where we added the 2 floors of tenant build-out. Well, we got an extension in time for that work, and we still finished the project within that extended time frame. So it's not going to be unusual for any contractor, if the scope of work changes a little bit, to ask for a commensurate extension in time. Okay? We're good, but dealing with added scope and weather can be a challenge to overcome.
I think it said you had 72 K through 12 jobs over the last 10 years.
Yeah, I think that's,
How many of those at the same time have been the size of these schools that we're going to be building?
I would say 50% probably would be relatively, if you just allow for inflation from if the job was an 8-year ago project and you adjust that contract value to meet, you know, today's construction costs, that probably 50% or more would marry up to be comparable to the projects you have in mind.
Okay.
I was going to ask if you all have the capacity to take on all the projects that we're proposing on this bond proposal at once, or if you had a strategy for timelines on those.
We have the capacity. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that you've shortlisted 2 fine contractors, and if we were awarded one project, we would be pleased with a decision from you all to do that.
Have you all looked at our proposals? Do our breakdown of costs look like what's in line with what you guys are seeing as far as schools and?
We've not seen
Okay.
information, that level of information, not been provided to us at this point.
You may have covered this also, but usually construction companies are only as good as the subcontractors show up. So what percentage subcontractors are on multiple projects or come back time after time?
A real strong percentage of the construction trade contractors, subcontractors want to work on a Lippert project. They perform 80% of the work on a job site. If we don't treat them correctly and with respect, they're not going to want to do our job, our projects. There'll be somebody else they'll go to. If we don't have an experienced superintendent on the job site to lead and orchestrate the work to the point where they are successful and make money on the project, they're not going to want to come and work on a Lippert project. We believe that that's what separates us from a lot of the other contractors in our community, and we have the respect of the subcontracting community to bid our projects, and that's why we have a higher bid turnout with subcontractors than some of our competitors do. And they've told us that. If it's Lippert or company B or C, they want to get involved with a Lippert project.
Keeping on the subcontractor note, is there specific qualifications, and the other board members may know this, but working on our school sites for your subcontractors that their staff needs to meet? I know that a lot of parental questions come to us about that. Will you help me understand that piece a little bit better.
All public school projects cannot engage any workers that have a sex offender record.
Okay.
And so we screen not only Lippert employees, but subcontractor employees must provide documentation that none of the men that they're going to staff on the job fall into that category. So we're confident that we're staffing the appropriate personnel on the job to ensure the public entity or the school district that their children are safe.
Is that the only qualification, just the sex offender registry?
Yes.
This isn't a real quiz. I'm just genuinely curious.
It's not uncommon to have more.
So that would be at our request.
Yeah.
Okay.
What else? Derek? Jared? Good. No, I think for me, just outside of student and staff safety and workers' safety, job site safety, and budget, the end of the project, the follow-up, after the punch list, when everything's done and things start breaking, there's no, everybody's gonna say they come back and fix it, but, a lot don't. You want to touch on any of that on your follow-up?
Sure. Part of our project closeout involves getting a warranty statement from every one of our subcontractors that performed work. So we've got a commitment in writing. We've got our contractual commitment with them, subcontract, that also addresses warranty work. So we monitor that. We put together the information. We can provide a list to your maintenance department or staff of what subcontractors performed which scopes of work. We can either be involved as that individual wants to call us, our project manager, to say, hey, I got a warranty issue, it's this, can you come look at it? Or can you send the right firm out to address it? Or you can go direct to that subcontractor and copy us with an email and we follow it through. It's whatever works best for your system. We've got owners that go both ways.
All right, thank you. What else?
I have one more question. On the, back to that Oklahoma City bond stuff that you're going to do with Northwest Class and then the other elementaries that have not started yet, are those a part of the 16 current contracts as well? Or those are in addition to?
In addition,
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Anybody else? All right, well, we appreciate your time
Thank
and the
you.
information.
we
Thank
thank
you.
you very much for the
Thank you.
opportunity.
Thank you.
All right. Dr. Eichelberger?
I'm gonna go get our next group
Okay,
and tell these guys thank you, and then
Perfect.
we'll be right back.
Okay.
Talk amongst yourselves.
I only had one page. I need another one of these. Did he give you two?
here, I've got,
No, I can make notes. I'm good.
you know what, and they have this too.
I'll just separate them.
I didn't write them.
Yeah.
You didn't get two? Oh. Thank you.
Never mind. I can write on this. Thank you so much. You got an extra?
Any more?
Nope.
Sure. All right, we ready to go?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Turn it over to y'all.
Thank you. Thank you for having us here tonight. I'm Stan Lingo with Lingo Construction, and had the opportunity to be here a couple weeks ago, so thank you for having us again. So Lingo Construction, I'm going to give a little bit of history about Lingo Construction. We've been in business 25 years. I think what sets us apart, though, is those 25 years we've been totally focused on construction management. We believe that delivery of construction through the construction management system is the way to get the best value, to maintain schedules, to control costs, and really to spend your dollar the most wise way with that. In 25 years, we've grown from, my wife and I started this company together. We both work in the company every day. We've grown it from just her and I to today. We have about 130 direct employees. We have, the nice thing about that is we have the horsepower to get things done and to complete projects on time, and really get into the details. And that's the nice thing about that work. The 135 employees that we have are very diverse in background. We are all builders. We would like to be known as true builders and not just passers of paper. As true builders, we're made up of interior designers who want to build, architects who want to be builders, civil engineers, structural engineers, people who with construction management degrees, people who worked as carpenters in their way up through the trades. And so that diverse background of people make us really unified and with the ability to solve problems for you with that. As I said, for 25 years, we've been doing construction management. The only way you maintain that philosophy and not have to jump into the bid world is to serve the owners well. And I believe we make the decisions that are best for our owners over decisions that are best for us on a regular basis. That's why you can see that we have over 60 repeat owners. We're not a one and done contractor. As we look back at projects, we are not successful in the eyes of Lingo if we have only completed one project for an owner. We are looking to do multiple projects to earn our keep and to be a valued partner on projects that come in the future. You can see a list of owners that we've done multiple projects for, and that's really the standard for Lingo and what we do. Our project team and how they will serve you. So I'm president of Lingo Construction, but I totally enjoy the pre-construction part of a project, the planning part of a project, the arranging and shifting of the shells to really shape what the project's going to look like for our builders. And so I will know your project, I will be involved with your project, and I will help make sure, especially in the conceptual areas and the schematic design estimates, the very early estimates, that they truly reflect that the scope and budget align, and that way we can have honest conversations about where we're at within the project. My goal for you and how I serve owners is no surprises. That is my responsibility. Jacob Lingo, project manager, is also a structural engineer like myself, has 10 years in design and construction, has worked on K through 12. Currently, he's working on the Convergence project, which is right by OU Health Science Center, a 8-story office building. He will complete that project and be here to serve you. But he has the ability to complete really complex projects. He worked on the CAPS Middle School project, which is a 1,200 student middle school for Putnam City Schools with that project. Kevin Murphy, right here. Kevin is director of pre-construction, and so he works right with me to estimate projects, to forecast what the future looks like on projects, to be able to, on early stages of projects, fill in the white parts of the drawings, the areas of the drawings that are not detailed and drawn yet, and to put a budget to it. Kevin and I work together because it's a very volatile market right now, but we work together to make sure that we are accurate and up to date on what prices for different components are. In today's world, there's certain products that are going straight up. There's certain projects that have gone up and come back down, and there's other projects that are commodities that vary day to day. And so you've got to be in touch with what's happening there, and that's what Kevin and I do together. And then Katie Walker, right here, she graduated as an interior designer, had joined Lingo and Katie's director of our project teams. Katie is a great builder herself, but today Katie's responsibility is to train, teach, elevate, and hold accountable our project teams to make sure they deliver projects that reflect Lingo. Katie is an absolute star and will be a vital part of your success in the future. So why Lingo Construction? When we look at core values, our core values are there in that center column: build safely, build with energy, build with integrity, build artistically, proactively, and responsibly. And then we pulled in your vision statement and your mission statement and your core values. And it just shows that we're aligned and focused, that our job is to deliver a product for you that is best for you to use in teaching, training, and elevating the kids in your programs. And for us, we are in the same way. Our main goal within Lingo is to do the very same thing that you are in the area of education. We see with safety, safe, empower, integrity, collaborative, potential, and service, and where we're aligned with that. So, any questions about these first 2 pages? I welcome questions as we go.
Do you have a percentage of like how much of your work is repeat customers versus first-time customers by chance?
Yeah, so I did the 2023 look back and the 2024 go forward look for all of Lingo employees just a couple days ago. And so on the first day of January, we had 32 active projects. Of those 32 active projects, I believe 24 were with repeat owners. Other questions? Great, I'm gonna let Jacob talk about Caps Middle School.
Thank you guys for having us tonight. So I'll tell you a little bit about Caps Middle School, not as much about the school itself, but about the process that how we got there. So with this project, we were able to work with a local architect and a national architect to really develop early on the vision for the project. We helped them with, as you can see there, all the way from concept to final GMP estimates. With that, we were able to work with them to make sure the project did not grow outside the budget that was there. As you look there and you see the concept estimate and then the SD estimate, at that SD time, we started to identify that the pricing was going to be out of range of the budget. So we worked with them to VE some options back in. The emphasis of that is, if you've been to the Caps Middle School, you've seen we didn't lose any of the artistic design. We didn't lose any of the functionality. We really worked with them to find ways that were creative for that. I'm a structural engineer myself. With that, use specifically some knowledge to be able to cut back on structural elements and things that you don't necessarily see as the public. And so from an operations standpoint, we didn't lose any of that function. And so as we did that, we were able to bring the project back into budget. As you see there with the final GMP was 48.8, and we finished with the final GMP of 48.8. What's not really shown there is towards the end of the project, we were on schedule. And so with that, ready to move in. But we were early on, about 6 months prior to the move-in date, we identified that we had extra budget available. And we were able to go and add another gymnasium into the project, as well as a track. And so that's where we want to work with the designers, with the school board, everybody, to make sure we can accomplish the vision. We ended up pulling that phase 2 portion into that phase 1, and we're able to deliver it. As you see, there was schedule management. We had to get very creative. We had 41 days of rain when we were working, and it was not in the best time to have rain. It was when you're doing foundations. If you know anything about the school, it spans over a creek. And so, again, not the best ideal situation for a building spanning over a creek when you get 41 days of rain. We were able to work to get creative solutions to be able to find that. And really, that speaks to what we do at Lingo. We try to find creative solutions. We don't bring problems. We bring solutions in mind for the owners and for the architects to make decisions on. With that building, if you go to the next page, you see there safe rooms. And so we do have quite a bit of experience of safe rooms. We have done everything from tilt-up to precast on site, cast in place, and ICF forms. With those, we have this general range. I myself have experience in designing storm shelters as well. I did that with structural engineering before I got into construction, and so I know what aspects are there to look for to make sure it's done right the first time. One of the aspects that you see with both the project experience at CAPS and some of these other ones is how we work safely in schools. And so one of our priorities anytime we're doing work is to make sure we over-communicate with you as a school board, with the staff on site that maybe we're interacting closely with, to make sure all of our projects are safe for you as a school board, to be able to occupy students next to, if it's an adjacent property or things like that. We want to help understand what the desire is for you as a school board for your project and help deliver that at the end. I'm going to turn it over to, any questions on either of those two slides?
Yeah, so the CAPS project, what was your project incident injury rate?
On that project,
To include your subcontractor?
I don't know on that project specifically. I'd have to go look that up, but we didn't have any major recordable incidents on that project. I know as a company right now, last year our we had one recordable incident per 200,000 man hours. Those 200,000 were just lingo. We had over 900,000 man hours last year as a company, and that we oversaw essentially. And so our safety ratio is a 0.8.
Your mod?
Safety modifier, yep. And so
What'd you
what
say
that
it was?
means,
0.8?
0.8. What that means is we deliver a lot better bang for your buck because we can essentially do our projects for cheaper than the average contractor. Good. Any other questions?
I have a question when it comes to like the construction of CAPS. I know CAPS Middle School is kind of secluded into like a neighborhood area.
Correct.
I know one of our projects will also be
Yep.
in a neighborhood area, and I was just wondering, like the process of that. How did you handle that? How did
Yeah.
the traffic increase? And
Exactly, yeah, so we, pre-construction, so months before we actually mobilized, we worked with the school to make sure we understood the property limitations. We did boundary studies to understand, what does a neighbor's fence look like? We did video studies of that. We did a little bit of discussion when we knew there was going to be a lot of close interaction where we actually met with some homeowners to say, we're going to be right up on your property. Here's what it's going to look like. What we avoided with that was there was no surprises. There was no, hold on, we got to stop construction because we got to figure this out. We were able to do that. There was a few homeowners who at the end of that project came up and said, hey, my fence or, my drainage or something like that. We were able to look back and we were able to say, no, we if anything, we actually improved the drainage or improved the, the conflicts there. We were able to keep the school out of some potentially stressful situations for sure with that. There was, with all construction, there's noise, things like that. We cleaned the streets pretty regularly, make sure we avoided any confrontation there with the city. We worked with the city staff as well to make sure they understood, if we were going to have a really muddy day, we knew our role in that as well as they knew their role in that, and kind of where those two crossovers were. The city on this project did a stormwater relocation extension right in the middle of our project and actually created a pretty big mess in just kind of that interaction. And so we had to work with them on that. But it was a good opportunity for us to kind of work with them. We didn't have any disruptions as far as the neighborhood goes that were significant to the project.
thank you.
Good questions?
Just out of curiosity, you'd mentioned some value engineering pieces of that. What typically is the most low-hanging fruit with that
Really
in
depends
a
on
project like this?
Really depends on the project. A project like this, like with CAPS, the items that we looked at there is there was an extensive amount of earthwork that was happening to make the site ready. We looked at it, we went and ran our calculations. We disagreed with some of the engineering that was done preliminary on it, where they said it was a balanced site. We actually looked at it and we were going to have to import a lot of soil, which is never cheap, especially whenever you have the soil there. And so we actually worked with them. We adjusted the building pad, made the recommendation to adjust the building pad by like 1.5 feet. What that ended up doing is balancing the site. We were able to remove quite a bit of money from that. We also, if you're familiar with the school, it's got these wings that kind of rotate up against the creek. We rotated a couple of those wings back by a few degrees. When we rotated those back by a few degrees, we got we got off of the creek line by about 5 or 10 feet. What that allowed us to do is to reduce a lot of the structural impacts to that. And so it was able to reduce quite a bit of money. We didn't make any performance changes or aesthetic changes to the building. Through
It's
that
more dirt
process.
work and labor.
Yes.
Anything else?
Okay. Well, I'm going to turn it over to Katie. She's going to walk through a little bit about lingo.
Evening. So why Piedmont Public Schools is special to us, we have multiple families, whether that's through their children, grandchildren, nephews, nieces that attend school in the district. And then we also have lingo team members who have spouses that are teachers in the district. And we know that we have a responsibility to you all, the students, and our lingo families to serve well. And we want to do that every day. The other thing that is, we know that how we perform is a direct reflection on the school district and our families again, and we don't want to let anybody down. So with that, lingo, what we can provide for Piedmont Public Schools is a true partnership. And certain ways that we do that, if you want to go to the next slide there, is through trusted service. And that is through our core values and displaying those every day when we're on the site, in the office, everywhere we go. One example of one of our core values is building with integrity. And through everything that we do, we want to exemplify honesty and sound character. The other thing is we do have experience with some of your school administration. And as a collaboration and a team, we will work together with the design team, the school district. We actually take collaboration all the way into the field with the trade partners. If you come into one of our job site trailers, we use lean construction in the last planner system. And we are collaborating with the field members who are actually installing the work to help us inform the schedule. And so collaboration is key for any successful project, working together as a team. With Kevin and Stan's pre-construction experience and their knowledge, we're able to provide you all and help you all with global schedules and budgets, as well as the detailed construction estimates. And then we have the bandwidth to handle multiple projects at the same time. When it's time to start your projects, we will have project managers and superintendents available to run both projects at the same time. And then the other thing, as a trusted partner, we'll bring solutions. And that's solutions during pre-construction, whether a project is lending itself to being over budget. Again, we've talked about some value engineering, but we're going to bring solutions to you all. We're not going to just throw our hands up and say, well, it's over budget. We want to be a partner with you guys and work through it to make it a successful project. The other thing is in the field, when we're doing construction, if we have questions, if issues come up, which is inevitable in construction, we're going to bring solutions to the design team, to you as the owners, and we'll evaluate the best solution for the project. As Jacob mentioned, our safety record too, we bring that as a trusted partner. Safety is every day in our field, in the office. We have daily huddles with the trade partners in the field and the superintendents, and we're talking about safety. We're constantly looking at ways we can mitigate the hazards. We're talking about it at weekly work plan schedules. We're talking about it in the office when we have PM and superintendent meetings. We want safety to be a top priority because we do want everyone to go home in the evening. And safety is a big thing for schools because your kids are around the construction. And so we have to be safe. We have to keep them in mind. And that's just through communication. At the start of a project, team members are going to put together a plan. Like, this is how we're going to access the school. This is where staging is going to be. There's going to be constant communication. And again, as Jacob mentioned, with our safety modifier, with that, we can return direct savings to the owner because we are getting reduced insurance rates. So it's a savings for the owner. And then a warranty follow through. We're your partner through the end. Just with repeat clients, we are not doing our job if we're not doing the next project with you all. So we're going to follow up. We're going to address any warranty items if they come up in a timely fashion, and we're going to make sure they get resolved. And then just from an education experience, we have team members who have experience in construction of education facilities, both public and private, small and big. And so we want to partner with you guys. We know that we can be a long-term partner with you all, and we just ask that you guys give us the opportunity to partner with you on these projects. What questions do you guys have for me?
As far as budget, what percentage of your projects come in? I know there's a lot of factors that can play into that, but what percentage come in on budget or under budget? And how many over budget?
None of them. Kind of maximum scope. As far as returning savings, I would say it's 75%. Gain some type of savings. There's a couple of tricks in the construction world of how to do that, right? One is really fat in your estimates. Always have. That is not how we work. Start ground up building with about 2.5. Start I, owner of our 5 years type project, one that because you think you have plenty of room, kind of like having a credit card with a limit, you'll get in trouble. You have a credit card, you know what you pay attention to. And I think that's what details work in the.
So you may have already addressed this, but talk to me about on time. What percentage of your projects are finished on time?
Yeah, you know, that's a great question. Yeah. You know, as we had our administration, you asked me that question, and you know, I was thinking, have we ever not delivered a school project document? And I answered, I never have. Went back and studied that, and I believe there was time that wood floors didn't actually open it for school. We opened it. So other than that, I do not recall a project.
I have two things. Could you talk to us a little bit about like what software and processes you use to track the project and can communicate back with us as a district? And then also like the team, you did, outline who does the pre-construction design, things like that, but just how the team works as far as the timeline on the project, if we have one person or multiple people kind of throughout who we work with.
So yeah, I'll highlight softwares. We use Procore, which is a construction management software. Owners have full access to whatever they want to use that for. Architects do as well. Our estimating software is Sage. Again, it can print out, when we estimate in detail. So when there's estimates, there's 500, 600 plus line items that we have taken off every quantity for ourselves. And then we present also just an executive summary, so you guys can dig into the detail if you want, or you can look at the big picture. We have owner, architect, contractor meetings. Again, we use either just a written agenda. We have some projects teams that use smart sheets, if you're familiar with smart sheets. And our project teams use smart sheets as a way of communication. We have a communication board, and we've had some projects where the owners and architects have used smart sheets during pre-construction, and everyone has a column assigned to them, and everybody has a card that says what you're going to be working on, when it's due, what's the next steps. And so we can use that, and you guys will all have access to that as well. And then as far as project team, early on, Kevin and Stan are really heavy in pre-construction, and Jacob would be too. And then by the time we get to 100% CD documents, the project manager on the job is the one responsible for writing all the bid packages, calling all the subs, getting bids in. They do and then take it through the construction. And so we like to bring the project manager in if it's not already identified early at conceptual stages about design development level.
And is that who carries us through warranty?
Correct.
Let me add just one thing to that. That is the, for this project, Jacob Lingo will be your, so you will not have projects. Jacob, know your project, handle apps, weeks, administration, through, proud of their project. They bring students through their school. That person, which quite honestly,
And I know you answered it because you said you did, but you feel like you all have the capacity to take on these at the timing that we're going to be ready for them and complete all the projects that are on this bond issue.
The reason we're not answering the question about who else and who else and who else is we really don't know much about the scale. I mean, we know, heard about the 2 large projects. There's lots of other projects. At Oklahoma Baptist, they had a tornado. So with an unplanned event, we assembled a team in our company to handle re-roofing, putting windows in, tearing down 20 buildings, but re-roofing 60 to be open for school. So we have a team that dives in, work is world, work, put the team together that works well together. We have the superintendent project manager, but you're right about you want to match it up.
Bonding capacity project and your aggregate bonding ability?
So right now, our aggregate bonding is 100. We have not pushed to increase that in 3 or 4 years. But, so that is not our bonding capacity. That is the project.
The CAPS job, it says is 459 days on site. Was that first shovel in till completion? Pretty quick.
Can you talk to us a little bit about safety from a subcontractor's perspective, like what standards we hold since we're working on school grounds, so that we can make parents feel, that their kids are safe on our.
So, every employee that, subcontractor we'd go out to, we've done this on every project, would they have an affidavit they have to sign that essentially says they're non-felons. They can't employ any felons that would be on the job project, or sex offenders. And so that's a state requirement, actually, that every bidder that you should be going to should already have. But we do try to enforce that well. One thing that we do that probably stands us out a little bit from most people, we will bring you bidders who are, and trade partners who are adequate for the job. We're not going to bring you somebody and recommend somebody who's a fly-by-night, who's non-trusted. And so with that, we will work to make sure we have good qualified bidders who can do the project, and who we trust to do the project, in that sense that we can make sure safety is a requirement. We write bid packages that are not just follow the drawings, but it's follow the drawings under these conditions. And so that's part of knowing the project before it starts. We're going to have, before the the project even goes out to bid, we're going to understand how we want to build it and how we can build it in a safe way. Whenever that's understood beforehand, there's no surprises of, oh no, how do we do this with students around? So safety becomes a predetermined thought instead of a reaction. It's really one way we approach that.
You may or may not have the answer. Are you guys currently an ISNet contractor? Do you belong to ISNet?
I would guess my answer is no.
ISN out of Dallas?
I don't think so. Is there an advantage to that? That I should know about?
What other questions? Derek?
Nope.
Jared? Katie or Stephen?
Well, we thank you for this opportunity and do desire to build your next school projects. This is our community. We desire to be here. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Dr. Eichelberger, anything else on that?
Nope, we are good. It is time for you guys to go to the next item.
Okay. All right, moving on to item A. Discuss and take possible action regarding approval to hire a construction management company for 2024 bond projects. I think it's safe to preface it by saying we're got two good choices.
Mm-hmm.
Two very good choices.
Well, I'll start. I'll start the conversation,
All right.
right? That's what we gotta have. One of the things that I judge a company on is safety. If you can't perform safely, then you shouldn't be in business. And that earmarks the quality of a company from operational excellence. That's the first key point for me is safety. And, as I talked and looked at safety between the two, there's a clear winner, and it's Lingo. They listed safety as a value. It's not a priority, and that's good. It should be a value, not a priority. Values don't change with circumstances. Priorities change with circumstances. And I'm a full believer that that's a quality earmark of a quality company. And I like the idea that our current administration has had experience with them.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had experience with Lippert Brothers as well. Those are my thoughts.
I agree with that on the safety, and we defer a lot of safety items to you because that's what that's what you do. So it's good to have your insight with that. I also think for what it's worth, when you talk about a group that specializes specifically in construction management, you know what you're getting. As we've had the conversations before, when you do design, bid, build versus construction management, we've internally tried to construction manage before, and we stumbled through that process. We've done, obviously, since I've been here in the district, the design, bid, and build on the remaining everything else. And I do feel that getting a company that specifically specializes in construction management is valuable to me. So I would, for what it's worth, I think that's important for me to think about as well.
I think it's pretty impressive that they have 32 active projects, and 24 of those are repeat customers. I think that speaks to their performance and the product that they turn out.
And without hesitation, when asked if they could handle a project this side, they said yes.
I think they both are very qualified. To me, it seemed a little bit like Lippert is trying to transition into construction management from design build. They're obviously doing it, but they seem to have less of the project totals that they do being in construction management. So I think Lingo was a little bit more on top of that specific space, which is obviously where we're trying to move into. Some of the other details are not, one didn't stand out specifically more. Obviously Lippert gave us a few more project examples to this scale, but I think that Lingo's got a lot of school districts in here as well that they work with that would probably attest to that. So I think Lingo was a little more in touch with us and what we're looking for these projects. But
Agreed.
There's one question I didn't ask, and I don't know if I can ask it since they're still in the room, but do they have experience with the Stacy Group?
They do not. I know that. They do
Okay.
not.
I didn't ask that. I forgot to ask that.
I forgot to ask that.
That was your question.
and we had Lippert with one construction management project with Stacy Group that they just completed, but I wasn't sure about other, design build projects.
I think, if I remember correctly, I think they said that started out that way at the Edmond project, and then 2 more phases came
That's
in.
right.
Phase
Phase
obviously they're
1 was
working with
design,
us.
bid, build.
Yeah, Red
Phase
Hood.
2 and 3 was construction management.
And then they're working.
And Lippert's done as far as I'm aware, they've done an excellent job on everything that they're currently doing and that they've done for us in the past, so. Where some of the construction companies we've had in the past, that was not the case.
Agreed. You don't want me doing the punch list.
Yeah.
And I've done some punch list in high school. So what other discussion? Stephen, you want to add anything else, or Katie, or Derek, or Jared? I mean, it sounds like if from our discussion, sounds like we can probably move forward, looking for a motion.
I make a motion that we retain Lingo as our construction management company.
And I was second. Motion by Jared. Second by Lane. Get a vote.
Derek,
Yes.
Katie,
Yes.
Jared,
Yes.
Stephen, yes, Lane?
Yes. All right, moving on to Part B, discuss and take possible action regarding Form 307, Supplemental Appropriation Form, $2.651818 million and 74 cents, additional general fund.
So I'm gonna tell you the way I say this, and then I'm gonna see if this is a test for me, see if Jennifer agrees with everything. If not, she's gonna correct me, and that's fine. So our auditor each year gives us an estimate of needs, and they base that on about 90%. So far, yeah. And so we have to have the auditor has to give us that, and then that's what we bring to you. And so we can't spend more money than that legally. So we've had about $5 million between the teacher pay raise and adjusting some years of experience and hiring some people. We've increased that enough that we're right on the edge of that. That money, it's not like we're borrowing money. It is money that's coming in. We just have to have the legal authority. It's coming in, just whether we can spend it or not. So what we're saying in this supplemental is we want to make that money available as it comes in. Is that right?
That's a good thing.
Yes.
This is a good
That's a
thing.
good thing.
Nobody's coming to us and taking money.
Nobody's
We
taking
have the
money.
authority to spend it. I don't have any questions on it.
Okay.
Jared? Nope. Katie or Stephen? All right. If not, looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, motion by Stephen, second by Derek. Can you get a vote?
Derek,
Yes.
Katie,
Yes.
Stephen, Jared,
Yes.
Stephen, yes, Lane?
Yes. You don't see that too often right there.
No, you
That's-
don't.
All right, moving on to item C, discuss and take possible action regarding proposed revisions to policy EHAC, virtual blended and distance learning.
So I want to kind of catch everybody in the viewing audience up on what we're doing. So some of our board policies are old, and then some are really old. And so what the executive team has done is split up every single policy, and everybody has policies to read. And what we do is go back in, and if they're out of date, they have something that's not part of current law, we write that policy, we change that. But we don't have the authority to change the policy, you do. One of the board's duties is to set policy. So when we give you this recommendation, which is what this is now, that's why it says draft on it. We give you a recommendation, then you ask questions if you need clarification. You know, you've had these for a while now to read, but you may still have questions. Something comes to mind we want you to ask. So we're starting through these policies. We're making changes, we're bringing them to you each month. We will do this from this month until we are done with the policy manual, when it's updated completely. Some of those policies require our attorneys to write. We haven't run across that yet, but at some point we have to make sure that this legal. All of these are legal. We're good to go. We've made some changes, and those are in red that you've read. And so this first policy that is virtual and blended, and we changed the title to, instead of hybrid, to blended, because that's what it's called now, distance learning. So I'm going to let Mark and then see if Lisa or Brenda have anything to add. But what we needed, Mark, what I want you to initially address is how we're doing blended learning now, and what you're proposing?
The way that is a spread approach to 8 hours, part of the day, that virtual class. So before I've got 400 students that are either online, virtual, or on that schedule. One of the challenges, first hour, second hour, third hour, is that are at school, but don't have an classroom. So one of the things that we're doing, we're going to limit minimum. Okay, virtual, which is full-time. So if you're an athlete, place
Another thing that I want to highlight is that with this, having kids come in the AM or the PM, we have less kids moving in and out throughout the day, and that is a safety issue. So right now, every hour, we've got kids that are now going to virtual, not doing it virtual here. We're moving in and out. It's not as safe as we want it to be. So we'll tighten that up by having basically a passing. We'll still have kids coming in and out, but not like they are now. Is that true?
And honestly, so hopefully possibility of scheduling a virtual break, but what I think we just social and
I don't have a question, I have a comment. So I'm just really excited that we're keeping blended learning as an option for secondary and improving it so that it's more feasible for y'all long-term. Because I essentially did high school this way and took the harder classes in person, you know, and the more like lab-oriented classes, and then took a lot of online, and I loved it. So I think it's cool that we've got, you know, a better version of that option so that our students can still participate in being in school and, you know, have more flexibility. So I'm excited to improve
Katie,
that.
you make a really good point that I want to make sure blended learning works for those that it works for. Virtual works for virtual. People that, for some kids, like, I hate it. I actually got my doctorate virtually, but I hate it. And I hate it for our kids because I think they need to be in front of a teacher. But if we have good virtual teachers, and we do, that check on our kids, that work through that, it obviously worked for you, and it works for lots and lots of our kids. So we want to give opportunities for kids to be able to do whatever works for them and their family, right?
And I love that they don't have to leave Piedmont to do that. They can just do it right here. So I'm excited.
And this mirrors a lot of what we see in today's workforce anyway. I mean, it's the reality of it. And I do like the component that the fact that OSSAA has made some adaptations to that, because, you know, you do have a number of kids who this will immediately impact in some form or fashion. And so I like the flexibility with that too. So.
Just to make things clear, there's no midday new bus routes, correct?
that's the challenge.
Mhm.
Lays out blended learner morning, afternoon.
Well, and if I choose as a parent to do that, then I also am going to assume the responsibility
Right.
of getting my kid here. That's me.
I didn't ask this ahead of time, so it's not a fair question, but I did VOTEC in a part of my blended, so I think it would be at least good to look at the VOTEC schedules and how that lines up with the half days to see if those two flow, you know, with our current model or if they could in the future, because that's ultimately what I was doing.
We will make it work with Votech. They're a great partner.
Yeah.
Jared had a great, when I sent these policies out, you guys gave us feedback, which is good because that's what we need. That's what we want. Jared made a great point of, we were talking about not letting kids, once they didn't have a virtual class, they were going to be off campus so that we didn't have them wandering the halls or whatever. And Jared said, well, there may be a situation where they don't have internet at home, or they just need to stay for this time. And as long as they're doing what we ask them to do, why wouldn't we let them stay? So we made accommodations in the schedule for that. So they just have to get the administrator's permission. And as long as they're doing the right thing in the school, they'll be allowed to be at school.
So I had a question, just dumb dad here, right? My daughter takes concurrent classes for, I don't know, 4 hours of the day. And then I think she takes 3 hours at the high school. Is that considered blended? Because it's not the virtual thing that we do, but it's OSU OKC, right? So how does that student fit into this model? Are they considered blended or? Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. So my question, one of the questions is, should we define that kind of student in these, so we're defining virtual, we're defining blended, but she's really neither one of those?
But we have concurrent policies.
They normally go off campus since they're juniors and seniors. We have, what do we have? Three or four that are on. They don't line up with our buses. They're kind of going so when they're done, and we do have some that also stay on.
Yeah.
What we do this year is, they have to go, we have a classroom that is staffed by somebody. They have to go to the classroom, usually work teacher, or they can go. And some, or they choose to do campus, they can. But it's, our doors are going constantly. They're coming. We make, and they know that they have an open hour. They have to be from 3:03. They have to be at 4. They have to be some of them try not to.
When I read through this, I was trying to identify that type of learner and where she fit into that. She didn't fit in either one of those definitions, so I wondered if we needed to add that type of learner as well.
Jared, where I would place her is with the regular student.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's getting her college, let's say she's taking history. She's taking that, she doesn't have to take history here, so she's doing it there. She may be doing it online. Either way, she's just fulfilling those ways, just like a regular.
But she does fit into those.
Yeah.
I'm not concerned about my daughter, but I'm concerned about that type of student that we have.
Really blended.
Well, and Mr. Spears referred to it, the safety piece of this, or keep them out of trouble piece of this really is probably one of the biggest challenges.
I have one more question. I'm sorry. So will you repeat, like, in order to participate in sports, they have to be one hour? Did I hear that? Okay. So they could go to VOTEC half the day, do the rest of their classes virtual, as long as they make it back for their one athletic hour, and they would be a blended learner. I mean, VOTEC would count as their on-site part of their learning. Okay.
Drew, you did say, so all of these that we rewrite, our legal
Yes,
counsel
sir.
reviews them
Yes, sir.
before we approve them?
We send them to
Laura.
Laura.
Any other questions on EHAC? Comments? If not, we're looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve the policy EHAC.
I'll second it.
All right, got a motion by Jared and a second by Katie. Get a vote?
Derek,
Yes.
Katie,
Yes.
Jared,
Yes.
Stephen, yes. Lane?
Yes. All right, moving on to Part D, discuss and take possible action regarding proposed revisions to policy EIAR4, student promotion, retention, regulation.
So when Lisa looked at this one, she found that a lot of the language didn't line up with the current RSA laws. And so she added the vocabulary and the things that get us in line with that. And so that's what the first page is. I'm going to let her talk more about it in just a minute. And then we made sure that at the end of this, if we recommend promotion or retention and the parent disagrees, they've got a process. So they can first appeal to a district committee, and then they can go to a board committee if they want. What other things do you, board committee meaning board, you, the board? Lisa, what else do you want to add to what you?
I was late in getting my feedback, so I did request a change today, and I should have had it already pulled up. But I just added, and I'll find the wording, but I was asking if we could just add in a little bit of wording that says we'll provide the parents a copy of the appeal process when we give them the decision if there's a meeting. That way they know where to find it. That was my request, but I was going to pull up the wording real quick.
I've got the wording here. Katie would like to add on the second to last page where it says district appeals process, which will be provided in writing at the time of the decision. And we do that anyway, but we wanted to put that in writing so that we would, it's
Yeah,
part of
it
what
caught
we
my
do.
attention on the suspension appeal one, and I just thought it made sense if we're talking appeals process to have the language similar across different policies for different things.
It is on where it would fit in is page 4, where the header of promotion retention, it's the second paragraph. The fourth line says with district's appeal process, and then we would add, and that's what we're going to do in the motion, if you guys agree. She's going to make a motion for that to be added into this, and we'll add that tomorrow.
So if anybody has any comments on that, I'm sorry, I thought of it today.
Good add.
Yeah,
That's
it
good.
is.
Very good.
It
Questions? Any other comments? If not, looking for a motion?
I move to approve the revisions to policy EIA-R4 with the revision on page 4 under the promotion retention category that after the word process, we do add which will be provided in writing to them at the time of the decision.
Second?
I got a motion by Katie and a second by Stephen. Can we get a vote?
Derek?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Jared?
Yes.
Stephen, yes. Lane?
Yes. Are you good with that motion?
Yeah. You good? Did you get
Got
that?
it? Perfect.
She got
Thank you. Okay, moving on to item E, discuss and take possible action regarding proposed revisions to policy FM, student activities, scholastic eligibility.
So on this one, all the updates are on FM, and we're taking FMA, the next policy, and just adding it into FM. So we'll just have one policy. We're reducing this in size a little bit. And so I'm going to let Mark talk about the changes in FM.
So added some OS. Also.
Actually had a parent reach out about a question about eligibility. When does the eligibility list run? Does it come out Thursday, but it's run Monday through Sunday? Okay. Gotcha.
Any other questions on this policy, Stephen? Katie? Jared?
So Wayne, you may know this from your past experience. The Oklahoma, the OSSA, do they regulate how every school does this? What I'm asking, is it a legal,
It's-
is it a playing field that everybody does it the same way? Okay. Okay. But they follow a framework.
We're in that framework. Or I feel like it looks like we are. It's a hot button topic, eligibility with teachers. I mean, it's a lot of work to, teachers have to keep up with grades and you have to give kids opportunities. If they're failing, you have to give them opportunities to improve. And that's one of the biggest issues you run into is if a kid's failing, they don't have something for 2 weeks to get them up. So there's a lot of ground to navigate with this. It looks, the policy I think looks pretty good.
And what a lot of people don't realize too is eligibility goes all extracurricular, not just athletics. And so that was a question that I had from a parent, and it was an event that their student couldn't take place in this week because they were ineligible. So that was a question about the week when it comes out. And so,
Any other questions, comments on that? If not, looking for a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
second.
Motion by Stephen, second by Derek. Get a vote?
Derek?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Jared?
Yes.
Stephen, yes. Lane?
Yes. And I do appreciate the red line, the striking and the red makes it very easy to navigate. Okay, moving on to item F, discuss and take possible action regarding proposed revisions to policy FMA. I'm sorry, that's what we just did.
No, we had to
No,
do
no,
both.
we did FM, sorry. Discuss and take possible action regarding proposed revisions to policy FMA, extracurricular activities. That's just to be combined with.
It'd just be combined.
Okay,
I make a motion we approve the revisions to policy FMA.
I'll second it.
motion by Jared, second by Katie. Get a vote?
Derek,
Yes.
Katie,
Yes.
Jared,
Yes.
Stephen, yes, Lane.
Yes. All right, moving on to item G, discuss and take possible action regarding proposed revisions to policy FOD, suspension of students.
Go.
There was a
All right, questions, comments?
Well, there wasn't any red or strike throughs on this one, so that was my question, were these already two that were, or did we just expand or make a new one? Okay.
basically. Just second.
Okay.
We haven't had, Jared or Stephen, we haven't had long-term suspension appeals.
We have.
That's why I was confused, because we've had them the whole time, so I didn't know what we were
Long-term.
changing. Because long-term, I thought, is all we've had so far. Recently.
You're talking about in previous years? We haven't had any this
I
year.
mean,
none-
in the
nothing
2
this
years
side,
since
this
I've
school
been
year.
here,
Yeah.
we've done a few, but,
Previous school years.
yeah, previous
I
school
think
years.
it should have had red lettering so you would know, but what I think has happened is Mark made the two match, the policy and the process, which is the regulation.
Okay.
And he just put those together. We'll do a better job of making sure that we have red lines and,
No, it's okay.
no.
Again, I was a little behind with some of my questions. That's my fault.
I spoke too soon.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments on that? If not, looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve policy FOD, suspension of students.
Second?
Motion by Jared and a second by Stephen. Can we get a vote?
Derek,
Yes.
Katie,
Yes.
Jared,
Yes.
Stephen, yes, Lane.
Yes. All right. Discuss and take possible action regarding proposed revisions to policy FODR, student suspension procedures.
Same.
Yep.
I'll move to approve the revisions to policy FODR.
I'll second. Motion by Katie, second by Lane. Can we get a vote?
Derek,
Yes.
Katie,
Yes.
Jared,
Yes.
Stephen, yes, Lane.
Yes. All right, moving on to item 6, board reports.
So Riley has done a great job again with taking the principals and all the directors and above information and putting that into something that we're giving to you, and then we'll send out to the entire district tomorrow. And if you haven't had a chance to read it, the first couple of pages is all about our teachers of the year. And so it's really a cool thing. Generally, I just highlight a couple of things I want to talk just briefly about on the under operations and transportation update. Josh has added 4 new bus routes to address all the increased number of students that we have. That's huge. I mean, 4 bus routes in a year, that's big. And every one of the buses in the yellow fleet now have an iPad that's it's actually mounted into the bus, so that if we have a sub on that bus, or it's just the bus driver, they can punch up the route and it'll give them turn-by-turn directions. So when we have a bus, even somebody that has to cover for that route, we know that they're going to hit all the stops. They're going to be in the places that it's going to be. And eventually, we're not quite there yet, but eventually, like by next year, maybe by the end of this year, we're going to have it where our parents can see online, can see exactly where those buses are all the time. And they can set up a geofence, say it's a mile away from their stop, so that it will text them and say, hey, the bus is a mile away from the stop. That's a pretty cool thing that, technology is cool.
It's outstanding.
And there was one other thing.
How will we control who has access to that?
That's part of what we're doing. They have to have a code. Josh and Tommy are working through making sure that's safe and secure.
And it can be turned off at any time if
You don't have, you wouldn't have to use it.
family problems?
That's correct.
Okay.
And then the last one, there was a little article about Stephanie Payne's biology class using ice cream to study protein synthesis. And I just thought, what a cool thing for our kids to be able to marry their science with something we all eat. Not all of us, some of us eat every day. That's it. Read that.
All right, great. Any other questions or comments? Board report?
No.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that. Moving on to item 7, consent agenda. Discuss and vote to approve all consent items. These items may be approved by one board motion unless any board member desires to have a separate vote on any or all of these items. Anything in particular?
I would like to highlight the district calendar. So I'm going to let Patty explain how she did that this year. So she kind of took the what they did in another district and worked with our teachers and got it together. So every teacher had an opportunity to be part of this, and staff.
So it wasn't even close, 77%.
Yeah. And they were very similar. One of them having the National Election Day, the first Tuesday in November off, and there were a couple other things, but people didn't want that. And we will absolutely work with our teachers to make sure that they get to vote. Teachers and staff will make sure that happens.
So the calendar we're approving today is A, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
There's a lot of people going a lot of fun places in here, it looks like. As far as the item I, is that something we approve every year, or is there a change in plan that we're approving?
Patty can answer that. Or maybe Jennifer can.
Sorry.
None of us can answer that.
The-
Yes, that's something that you approve every year. It's just Section 25, so
Okay, so we approve the options and then they get to choose and move around. Okay, perfect.
So item J1, did they make it back safe?
Jay, I'll tell you about that. Thanks for bringing that up. We wanted to bring that to you because we want to be transparent in the fact that we didn't get that here in time, and so those teachers are actually, out there or just coming back. That didn't get to the admin. It wasn't sent from the site on time. That's something that we'll take care of at the site level. I mean, the appropriate person will take care of that. So that's an embarrassment to me personally. It is. We shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be asking you to approve something on the backside. And so we will correct that.
I think everything else is pretty self-explanatory.
On some of the requests, it didn't say how the expenses were being paid. It didn't say the fund that they were coming out of.
Do you know, is it all general fund?
Okay, thank you.
And we will put that on there from now on. That's our
Okay.
mistake.
I tell you, as a board member, I do love seeing staff being able to go to these kind of things. This wasn't happening before, and great for our teachers and staff and our culture.
Jared, you make a great point. Our teachers absolutely love being poured into and being professionally developed. And they are asking to go to these things because one of the things that the executive team and I want is for this district to be known as a district that professionally develops and grows our teachers. And our better teachers we have, the better our students are going to be.
And thank you for encouraging that as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's not just the teacher, the students enjoy being poured into as well. A lot of fun trips there.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
Any other questions on consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve consent agenda.
Second?
Motion by Derek, second by Stephen. Can we get a vote?
Derek?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Jared?
Yes.
Stephen, yes. Lane?
Yes. All right, item 8, executive session. Part A, vote to convene or not to convene into executive session for the purpose of discussing employment as listed on attachment C, 25 OS 307B1, discussing employment of superintendent, 25 OS 307B1, discussing the employment of superintendent's executive team as listed on attachment D, 25 OS 307B1. I'll make a motion to convene into executive session.
I'll second it.
Motion by Lane, second by Katie to convene. Can we get a vote?
Derek?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Jared?
Yes.
Stephen, yes. Lane?
Yes. All right, the time is exactly 8 o'clock. We will go into executive session. Right, it is 9:34, and the board is returned to open session. The board entered into executive session at 8 PM for the purpose of discussing employment as listed on attachment C, 25 OS 307B1, discussing the employment of superintendent, 25 OS 307B1, discussing the employment of superintendent's executive team as listed on attachment D, 25 OS 307B1. Those present in executive session were Derek Jones, Katie Kornman, Jared Mosier, Stephen Cox, Lane Jones, and Drew Eichelberger. No action was taken. So moving on to item 9, action item, discuss and take possible action on employment as listed on attachment C.
I'll make a motion to approve attachment C.
Second.
Motion by Stephen, second by Derek. Can we get a vote?
Derek?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Jared?
Yes.
Stephen, yes. Lane?
Yes. All right, moving on to item B, discuss and take possible action on the employment of superintendent.
I make a motion that we approve adding an additional year to the superintendent's contract.
I'll second.
Motion by Jared, second by Stephen. Can we get a vote?
Derek?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Jared?
Yes.
Stephen, yes. Lane?
Yes. All right, moving on to item C, discuss and take possible action on the employment of superintendent's executive team as listed on attachment D.
I make a motion we approve attachment D.
Second.
Motion by Jared, second by Derek. Can we get a vote?
Derek?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Jared?
Yes.
Stephen, yes. Lane?
Yes. All right, item 10, new business.
No new business.
All right, superintendent's report, item 11.
I will make this quick. Congratulations to our site teachers of the year. We have amazing teachers in Piedmont, and we're blessed to have amazing teachers of the year winners. Congratulations to Piedmont Education Foundation on another successful Diamonds and Denim Gala. It was a fantastic evening of food and fun. We appreciate the foundation greatly. Exciting times in Piedmont. Look for more educational information about our bond via email and social media. That concludes my report.
All right, great, thank you. Appreciate everything you all do. All right, moving on to item 12, adjournment.
I make a motion we adjourn.
I second.
Motion by Jared, second by Derek. Get a vote?
Derek?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Jared?
Yes.
Stephen, yes. Lane?
Yes. All right, time is 9:37. We are adjourned.